Today, together, we will embark on a journey that humanity will never be able to complete. Close your eyes tonight and dream. You are leaving Earth. Behind you, our blue planet is gradually shrinking. In front of you lies one of the most fascinating neighbors of the sky, the Andromeda Galaxy. Andromeda is located approximately 2.5 million light-years away from Earth. This means it takes 2.5 million years for even light to reach there. If you were to set out today, it would take billions of years to get there with our modern spacecraft. In short, with the technology we know today, this journey is almost impossible. Moreover, Andromeda is a huge galaxy larger than the Milky Way. It is estimated that there are about 1 trillion stars in it. And the interesting part is, it's getting closer to us every second. Approximately 4 to 5 billion years later, it is expected that the Milky Way and Andromeda will merge to form a single giant galaxy. Now, I would like to ask you a small question. If one day you had the chance to take a one-way trip to Andromeda without any danger, would you say goodbye to everyone you left behind and leave? Write your answer in the comments. Now you can sit back and relax. Because tonight, we will go on a long and peaceful journey towards Andromeda, exceeding the limits of our imagination, as if we were really going there. You slowly open your eyes. For a few seconds, you cannot remember where you are. Then, you feel the faint vibrations within your spacesuit. Your own name is written on the nameplate on your chest. You are one of humanity's most experienced astronauts. After months of training, countless simulations, and a mission years in the making, you now stand on the threshold of history's most important journey. Because Earth is no longer what it used to be. Decades of escalating climate catastrophes, global wars, and dwindling natural resources have brought human civilization to a point of no return. Scientists have determined that there is only one hope for humanity's long-term survival: finding a new home. That is why they chose you. Your mission seems simple, but in reality, it is impossible. You will leave the Milky Way behind and set out alone for Andromeda. This is a mission of no return. You may never see the Earth you left behind again. The spacecraft's artificial intelligence speaks quietly. Commander, all systems are ready. Do you authorize me to begin the Andromeda mission? A final glimpse of Earth. Your finger slowly reaches for the confirmation button in front of you. A brief beep. And then, the journey of no return officially begins. The spacecraft leaves the massive hangar, barely a tremor felt. Even the hum of the engines is like a soothing whisper. Through the vast window before you, you see Earth. Deep blue oceans, pure white clouds, the familiar shapes of continents, that tiny blue dot where humanity was born, where civilizations rose, and where billions of stories unfolded. Now, with every passing second, it grows smaller. Your family, your friends, the streets where you spent your childhood, the night you first gazed up at the sky, all of them slowly fade into the darkness. The spacecraft's artificial intelligence speaks again. Final communication link with Earth will be severed in 30 seconds. The silence in the cabin deepens. You know these might be the last sounds you ever hear from Earth. You take a deep breath and look back one last time. Now, before you lies only an endless darkness filled with stars, and far beyond that darkness, Andromeda awaits, some 2.5 million light-years away. Instead of a normal flight lasting millions of years towards Andromeda after the loss of communication with Earth, It would make sense to use an experimental technology, for example, a warp drive/warp engine. Thus, the story remains consistent within the framework of science fiction. Chapter 3. The first step into the unknown. The Earth is now too far away to be seen with the naked eye. All that lies before you are stars, billions of stars. Each one shines silently in the darkness. The spacecraft's artificial intelligence speaks in a calm voice. Commander, to reach the Milky Way boundary, the experimental warp engine must be activated. This technology has never before transported a human on an intergalactic journey. If it succeeds, a new era in human history will begin. If it fails, no one will ever know the reason for this. A countdown appears on the screen in front of him. 10. You take a deep breath. 9. 8. You're checking your seatbelts one last time. 7. 6. The lights in the cabin dim slightly. 5. 4. The vibration coming from the motors is increasing gradually. 3. The stars are starting to appear slightly elongated on the windshield. 2. Your heart is beating faster than usual. 1. Suddenly, silence. What an explosion. Nor was it a strong tremor. Only the space around it ripples, as if being bent by an invisible hand. The stars are turning into thin lines. Time is losing its meaning. And you, for the first time in human history, you are accelerating towards the unknown between galaxies. Among the stars, the steady hum of the warp drive emits a calm rhythm throughout the spacecraft. When you look out at the sky, the stars no longer shine individually as you're used to. The lights have transformed into thin, long lines due to the effect of motion. Each one appears to you as if it were just a few meters away, even though it is billions of kilometers away. The spacecraft you are on is the most advanced exploration vessel humanity has ever built. It is approximately 300 meters long. It has life support systems that can produce their own oxygen, units that almost completely recycle water, and a small fusion reactor that can operate for years without maintenance. Because there is no station that can help you on this journey, no planet. There is no rescue team. After a while, small rock fragments start passing in front of the windshield. These are not meteorites, but mostly space rocks measuring only a few centimeters in size. However, since they move through space at speeds of tens of thousands of kilometers per hour, even the smallest particle carries a great deal of energy. Fortunately, the ship's multi-layered protection shield and armor system silently absorbs these minor impacts. Outside, an indescribable silence prevails. Not even the sound of the wind. What a rain. Nor the birds. Because space consists almost entirely of empty space, there is no air here necessary for sound to propagate. That's why even the biggest conflicts taking place outside seem completely silent to you. You, however, remain in your secure cabin, watching the endless darkness surrounded by stars. With each passing minute, it is moving a little further away from Earth, and you're getting a little closer to Andromeda. Instead of a normal flight lasting millions of years towards Andromeda after the loss of communication with Earth, it would make sense to use an experimental technology, for example, a warp drive/warp engine. Thus, the story remains consistent within the framework of science fiction. Chapter 3. The first step into the unknown. The Earth is now too far away to be seen with the naked eye. All that lies before you are stars, billions of stars. Each one shines silently in the darkness. The spacecraft's artificial intelligence speaks in a calm voice. Commander, to reach the Milky Way boundary, the experimental warp engine must be activated. This technology has never before transported a human on an intergalactic journey. If it succeeds, a new era in human history will begin. If it fails, no one will ever know the reason for this. A countdown appears on the screen in front of him. 10. You take a deep breath. 9. 8. You're checking your seatbelts one last time. 7. 6. The lights in the cabin dim slightly. 5. 4. The vibration coming from the motors is increasing gradually. 3. The stars are starting to appear slightly elongated on the windshield. 2. Your heart is beating faster than usual. 1. Suddenly, silence. What an explosion. Nor was it a strong tremor. Only the space around it ripples, as if being bent by an invisible hand. The stars are turning into thin lines. Time is losing its meaning. And you, for the first time in human history, you are accelerating towards the unknown between galaxies. Among the stars, the steady hum of the warp drive emits a calm rhythm throughout the spacecraft. When you look out at the sky, the stars no longer shine individually as you're used to. The lights have transformed into thin, long lines due to the effect of motion. Each one appears to you as if it were just a few meters away, even though it is billions of kilometers away. The spacecraft you are on is the most advanced exploration vessel humanity has ever built. It is approximately 300 meters long. It has life support systems that can produce their own oxygen, units that almost completely recycle water, and a small fusion reactor that can operate for years without maintenance. Because there is no station that can help you on this journey, no planet. There is no rescue team. After a while, small rock fragments start passing in front of the windshield. These are not meteorites, but mostly space rocks measuring only a few centimeters in size. However, since they move through space at speeds of tens of thousands of kilometers per hour, even the smallest particle carries a great deal of energy. Fortunately, the ship's multi-layered protection shield and armor system silently absorbs these minor impacts. Outside, an indescribable silence prevails. Not even the sound of the wind. What a rain. Nor the birds. Because space consists almost entirely of empty space, there is no air here necessary for sound to propagate. That's why even the biggest conflicts taking place outside seem completely silent to you. You, however, remain in your secure cabin, watching the endless darkness surrounded by stars. With each passing minute, it is moving a little further away from Earth, and you're getting a little closer to Andromeda. Within eternity, you can no longer tell how the hours pass. There is no day or night in space. You cannot see the sunrise or sunset. The only thing that reminds you of time is the ship's silent computer gently changing the lights in the cabin every 24 hours. Thus, your biological clock is completely accurate. The artificial intelligence reads a new report in a calm voice. All ship systems are operating normally. Fuel reserve is 99%. Life support systems are stable. No course deviation detected. You take a deep breath and look again at the endless darkness before you. After a while, you realize that space is much more active than you thought. In the distance, young stars shining blue, giant stars aged by their red light, and dwarf stars nearing the end of their lives, almost too pale to be seen. Each one tells a different story. Scientists think there are hundreds of billions of galaxies in the universe. In each galaxy, there could be billions, or even hundreds of billions, of stars. Perhaps a planet that has never been discovered yet is silently orbiting around one of the stars you are currently looking at. Perhaps on that planet, someone looking at the sky is wondering about you at the same time. This thought gives you a strange sense of peace. Even if you are completely alone in this vast universe, you continue on your way among the stars, and in front of it, Andromeda, still shining millions of light years away, becomes a little more visible with each passing moment. First time, you're really starting to miss it. Not just people, the Earth itself. Here, sitting in the profound silence of space, you realize how great miracles the things you once thought ordinary actually are. On Earth, you never had to think about breathing. Because the atmosphere surrounding our planet consists of approximately 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen. That oxygen that fills your lungs with every breath is constantly renewed over billions of years, thanks to plants and the microscopic life in the oceans. The situation is different here. Every breath you take is purified and returned to you by the ship's life support system over and over again. For a moment, you close your eyes. You imagine the wind touching your skin. Yet there is no wind in space, because wind requires air to form, and space consists almost entirely of empty space. Then the sun comes to mind. The sun that rises every morning on Earth doesn't just illuminate the surroundings. Plants photosynthesize with its light, producing nutrients and releasing oxygen into our atmosphere. That light warms the oceans, creates the seasons, and determines the rhythm of life on Earth. As for you, you are now moving further away from the sun with each passing minute. And you are also thinking about the Earth, that distinctive scent that rises after the rain. The feeling of walking barefoot on grass, fertile soil in which a tree can take root. The Earth's soil is a thin layer of life formed over millions of years by the combined action of weathered rocks, living organisms, and microorganisms. Humanity built all its cities, forests, and fields on this thin layer. Now it's around you. There is no soil. There is no rain. There is no sea, nor is there any sky. Just metal walls, machine sounds, and an endless darkness filled with stars. Perhaps one truly learns to love a place only when one is far away from it. The solar system left behind. The map of the solar system appears one last time on the spacecraft's observation screen. You are now far away. Still, every name on the screen reminds you of a memory. The place where the whole journey began. Actually, it's much smaller than you think. Approximately 99.8% of the mass of the solar system belongs to a single celestial body, Sun. All other planets, moons, asteroids, and comets share the tiny remaining portion. For a moment, you think about the Earth's orbit. For life to exist, our planet is located at the exact distance it needs to be from the Sun. If it were a little closer, most of the oceans could evaporate. If it were a little further away, most of the Earth could be covered by thick ice sheets. Scientists sometimes refer to this region as the habitable zone. As Rotan advances, Mars's orbit falls behind. Red planet. The first world where humanity dreamed of establishing colonies one day. Perhaps people will live there in the future, but your task lies much further away. Then you think of giant planets. Jupiter. It is so large that it is wide enough to fit more than 1,300 Earths inside. Thanks to its strong gravitational pull, it is thought to have partially protected the inner planets by deflecting the paths of countless meteorites and comets. Perhaps it too had a silent role in the long-term survival of life on Earth. Even further away, Saturn continues its journey around the Sun, with its magnificent rings composed of ice and rock fragments. Uranus and Neptune, on the other hand, continue to rotate silently in cold and dark regions where sunlight now reaches very weakly. Now all of this is behind you. 8 planets, countless satellites, millions of asteroids, and that little blue world where humanity was born. They all continue to revolve around a single star you left behind. And you, having left the safe limits of the solar system behind, continue to make your way to an unknown future accompanied only by the stars. Inside the spacecraft, everything is as quiet as it has been for weeks. The engines are running at the same rhythm. The life support system is flawless. The artificial intelligence only speaks when necessary. Just when you were about to rest your eyes, a small light is flashing on the dashboard. At first, you think it's just a regular system notification. But after a few seconds, the voice of the artificial intelligence is heard. Commander, long-range sensors detected a new object. Your heart starts beating a little faster. You're getting closer to the screen. The image that appears before you shows a giant rock fragment floating millions of kilometers away. It is not an ordinary meteorite, an irregularly shaped ancient asteroid with a diameter of approximately 2 kilometers. It has probably been navigating the silence of space for billions of years. It is completing its artificial intelligence calculations. There is no risk of collision. The closest passing distance is approximately 800 kilometers. You take a deep breath. There is no danger. But this means you will come this close to another celestial body for the first time during your journey. As the asteroid slowly passes by the windshield, you can make out the giant craters on its surface. Some of them must have formed hundreds of millions of years ago. Perhaps this piece of rock was born when the solar system was still young. Perhaps it began floating silently through space long before the first life emerged on Earth. Soon the asteroid disappears into the darkness, but a different feeling awakens within him. Andromeda is still very far away, but now you're truly in the intergalactic void. Every new day, you may encounter a sight that no human has ever seen before. And who knows? Perhaps the next signal will be much more than just an asteroid. Through the stone rain, the giant asteroid you had seen just a few minutes ago had disappeared from sight. Just when everything was starting to quiet down again, the cabin's dim lights turn yellow. Attention! Approaching the dense asteroid field. The voice of the artificial intelligence is as calm as always. But this time, your heart is not like that. When you look out the windshield, you see that the scattered rock fragments glistening in the darkness are gradually increasing. Some of them are as small as a car. Some of them are the size of a building. Fortunately, they're not stuck together like you see in movies. In reality, asteroids are often separated by hundreds or even thousands of kilometers. Space is much more empty than one might think. Nevertheless, at these speeds, even the smallest stone can pose a major danger. The artificial intelligence continuously updates the route by performing thousands of calculations per second. Every small correction keeps you safe from an unseen collision. A rock silently passes a few kilometers ahead of the ship. As you watch it through the glass, you can make out the cracks and craters on its surface. You think to yourself, perhaps this stone is one of the first building blocks left over when the solar system formed. It may have been continuing on its path almost unchanged for approximately 4.6 billion years. Scientists believe that many asteroids are primitive rock fragments that failed to develop into planets. They are almost like the oldest memories of the solar system. Suddenly, a very faint click sound is reflected off the ship's outer armor. Then another one. The artificial intelligence speaks immediately. Collision detected. Micrometeorite particles. No damage detected. You're smiling. On Earth, Such a sound might have frightened you, but here you see that the spacecraft's multi-layered shield was designed precisely for this purpose. A few minutes later, the asteroid field is left behind. There are only stars in front of you again. But now you know. Although space appears silent from a distance, it harbors countless stones and secrets that have been traveling through it for billions of years. And you continue on your way right in the middle of that endless silence. It had been a few hours since we left the asteroid field behind. The deep silence you had grown accustomed to had returned to the cabin. Just as you were about to rest, the spacecraft is shaking slightly for the first time. One time, then once more. The control panel in front lights up with a red warning. A fault was detected in the external sensor array. Your heart is racing. Artificial intelligence explains immediately. Possible cause: high-speed micrometeorite impact. You're turning on the cameras outside. One of the sensors at the front of the ship is no longer working. It's just a tiny rock fragment a few centimeters in size. Perhaps it was only a little bigger than a grain of sand. But thanks to its speed of tens of kilometers per second, it was powerful enough to penetrate the steel alloy outer coating. You take a deep breath. For now, the ship's life support system is safe. The engines are running. However, since some of the long-range sensors have become inoperative, you will not be able to see the space in front of you as clearly as before. Artificial intelligence offers a new suggestion. Manual replacement of the damaged sensor is recommended. When you hear this sentence, you remain silent for a few seconds. Manual. This means you need to perform a spacewalk. For millions of kilometers around you, there will be no human beings. Just you, your spacecraft, and the endless void. You take the spacesuit out of the closet. You carefully lock your helmet. You are checking the oxygen level one last time. The airlock door begins to open slowly, and behind the door, the quietest view you will ever see in your life awaits you. The airlock door is opening completely, in front of infinite space. You carefully place your feet on the outer platform. The only thing binding you to the ship is the safety rope around your waist. You hold on with one hand and move toward the damaged sensor module with the other. Every movement is slow. Every breath echoes inside his helmet. External pressure, 0. Oxygen level, normal. The artificial intelligence remains calm. You reach the damaged sensor and replace the new module. It's a short wait, then the indicator turns green. Repair completed successfully. A great sense of relief fills him. Just as I was about to turn back, something unexpected happens. A bright white light appears in the distance, at the corner of your eye. Like a star. But it's much faster. Within seconds, it transforms into a dazzling flash that covers the entire field of vision. Instinctively, you darken the visor of your helmet. For the first time, artificial intelligence changes its tone of voice. Warning! A high-energy cosmic radiation wave has been detected. The ship's magnetic shields are activating, but you're still outside. The indicators inside your helmet are starting to flicker one by one. You feel a deep rumble in your ears. Breathing becomes difficult. The stars before your eyes are blurring. The safety rope around your waist keeps you attached to the ship, but your body no longer obeys you. The last thing you hear is the increasingly distant voice of artificial intelligence. Commander, please keep your consciousness clear. Everything is getting dark, and you You are slowly being dragged into a deep, silent darkness. You slowly open your eyes. At first, you can't remember where you are. Then you hear the regular breathing sound inside the spacesuit. The voice of artificial intelligence echoes in your headset again. Commander, you lost consciousness approximately 6 hours ago. All your vital signs have returned to normal. Your mission continues successfully. You take a deep breath and look at the giant observation window in front of you, and the view you see at that moment takes your breath away. In the distance, a pale white sea of light fills the sky. These are no longer ordinary stars. This is Andromeda, a giant galaxy that humanity has been able to see only with telescopes for millions of years, is now standing in front of their eyes. With each passing minute, it's getting bigger. It's becoming a little more noticeable. Artificial intelligence is sharing new information. Andromeda is a giant spiral galaxy approximately 220,000 light-years across. It is estimated that there are approximately 1 trillion stars within it. This number is considerably higher than the number of stars in the Milky Way galaxy. At the center of the galaxy is a giant supermassive black hole with a mass millions of times that of our Sun. As you approach this giant structure, you feel smaller than ever before. Andromeda, which once appeared as just a blurry speck of light in the sky, is now rising in front of you in all its glory. The spiral arms are gradually beginning to become visible. The billions of stars within it illuminate the darkness of space like a single river of light. Scientists calculate that Andromeda is approaching us at a speed greater than 100 kilometers per second. It will collide with the Milky Way in about 4 to 5 billion years, and the two together will form a brand new single galaxy. But you won't be waiting for this, because in a few minutes, for the first time in human history, a living human will cross the border of another galaxy. And that person is you. The voice of artificial intelligence is being heard again. Commander, the outer boundary of the Andromeda Galaxy has been successfully crossed. For the first time in history, a human has entered another galaxy. Congratulations, you can't say anything for a few seconds. You just stare at the view in front of you. Billions of stars, countless gas clouds, giant light streaks, where purple and blue blend together. Even the sky looks different now. The Milky Way now remains behind you like a small, distant island of light. All the life you once lived, all the cities, all humans, now reduced to a tiny memory within a single galaxy. An indescribable feeling arises within you. This is not fear, this is not loneliness either. This is the silent pride of achieving a first for humanity. Perhaps thousands of years from now, people will read about this day in history books, and you will learn that you were the first person to make an intergalactic journey. Artificial intelligence is creating a new record. Mission log entry into the Andromeda Galaxy completed successfully, initial observations being recorded. You too open the digital notebook in front of you. Perhaps these notes will one day reach the world. Perhaps it will serve as the first guide for people who will come after you. Your notes begin like this. Andromeda is approximately 2.5 million light-years away from Earth. It is estimated to be home to approximately 1 trillion stars. Its diameter is approximately 220,000 light-years, making it larger than the Milky Way. At its center is a giant black hole with the mass of millions of suns. Within the galaxy, you're taking a deep breath. Giant clouds of gas. Your fingers stay motionless on the control panel for a few seconds. Actively creating. Your heart is slowly beginning to return to its normal rhythm, but your eyes still remain fixed on the scene before you. Will merge instinctively. With the Milky Way, you smile slightly 4 to 5 because what you see years from now, a sight that no human has ever seen with their own eyes. You lift your head again. The tension in their shoulders is slowly disappearing. Because this is not back just in your chair destination and rest your head on your hand. The real discovery begins. You can't speak for a moment. As if words weren't enough to describe such an image, artificial intelligence breaks the silence. Commander, approximately 50,000 light-years ahead of us lies a dense, star-forming region. Young stars continue to be born in this region. You slowly straighten up and move a little closer to the windshield. You place your hands on the glass. Of course, there are thick armored glass panels between you, but still, you feel close enough to touch the stars. In the distance, young star clusters shining blue and white are visible. Some of these stars are only a few million years old. They are considered almost newborn for the universe. A little further ahead, red giant stars attract your attention, and they are living the last periods of their lives. The lifespan of a star can last millions or even billions of years, and you are currently passing through the very center of this great cycle. You turn your head slightly to the right. You take a deep breath. Your chest rises and falls slowly. There's no trace of fear left anymore. Its place has been taken by an indescribable admiration. Perhaps the strongest human emotion is curiosity. Because what brought you here wasn't engines or technology. It was the desire to understand the universe. Your eyes once again gaze into the infinity of Andromeda, and you think silently to yourself. This galaxy has been here for billions of years, but today, for the first time, a human is looking at it from within. The spacecraft continues on its way silently. You are now inside Andromeda. When you look out at the sky, you try to count the number of stars, but after a few seconds, you realize it's impossible. Wherever you look, there is light. Wherever you look, a new star is being born, or an old star is nearing the end of its life. The artificial intelligence is starting to read the new observation report. Commander, the Andromeda Galaxy is approximately 10 billion years old. It is considered one of the largest spiral galaxies in the universe. It contains nearly 1 trillion stars, as well as countless planets and billions of celestial bodies. Scientists estimate that there could be billions of planets in this galaxy, just by looking at the number of stars. This thought plunges you into deep silence. Perhaps in this galaxy there is a world currently harboring life. Perhaps another creature, looking at the sky on the shores of an ocean, is wondering what lies beyond its own galaxy. You slowly lower your head. A slight smile appears on your lips. No matter how far one goes, curiosity travels with it too. Artificial intelligence shares one more piece of information. Billions of stars orbit around the supermassive black hole at the center of Andromeda. This giant structure is one of the most important elements shaping the motion of the galaxy. However, it is thought that the majority of the galaxy's mass is composed of dark matter, which we cannot see with our eyes. So every star you see here, every gas cloud, every light. Actually, it's just the visible part of Andromeda. You take a deep breath as he watches the infinity beyond the glass. Only one thought comes to his mind. Once upon a time, humanity looked up at the sky and thought the stars were just tiny lights. Now, however, you are traveling among those stars, and you feel that the end of this journey is very near. But what you learned here will live on forever in the story of humanity.
There is a deep silence inside the spacecraft again. Andromeda's stars shine softly beyond the windshield. While you thought you had completed your task, the artificial intelligence issues a warning you never expected. Commander, it is proposed to initiate a high-powered data transmission towards Earth. Only a record may remain from this journey. Perhaps the people who will listen to it haven't been born yet. Perhaps the world has already changed. Still, you begin recording. Hello. If this message reached you, know that humanity has never stopped dreaming. I didn't come here alone. I brought all the stories of the world with me. The scent of the first rain, the sound of waves on the seashore, a child's laughter, the trees swaying in the wind.
Just as I was about to close my eyes, the spacecraft's unknown frequency receiver is working for the first time. A single sentence echoes through the cabin. Signal received. The source cannot be identified. The artificial intelligence remains silent for a few seconds. Then, for the first time in his life, he says these words. Commander, this signal is not man-made. In the darkness before you, a single light is flashing far away. And in that moment, you understand. You may be the first human to reach Andromeda, but you are not alone here. Perhaps the next journey, it will be towards someone waiting for you. Just as I was about to close my eyes, the spacecraft's unknown frequency receiver is working for the first time. A single sentence echoes through the cabin. Signal received. The source cannot be identified. The artificial intelligence remains silent for a few seconds. Then, for the first time in his life, he says these words. Commander, this signal is not man-made. In the darkness before you, a single light is flashing far away. And in that moment, you understand. You may be the first human to reach Andromeda, but you are not alone here. Perhaps the next journey, it will be towards someone waiting for you.
Thank you for accompanying me on this long journey. If this story has given you some rest decently, if it has been able to carry your imagination among the stars while closing your eyes, there are many more peaceful journeys waiting for you on this channel. In the next part, perhaps we will descend to the deepest point of the oceans. Perhaps we will wake up in a civilization lost to the past. Perhaps we will journey silently towards the farthest corners of the universe. If you want to continue hearing such calm and informative sleep stories, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. I would like you to leave a comment with a single word: Andromeda. This way, I'll be able to see those who stayed with us until the end of this